So now you have seen a lot of stuff about and how the component was built or created by Miguel, and so we're going to see how we can use it to create an application. I am the same guy as usual.
You sure?
You can find me everywhere almost. So, what are we going to talk about? REST just a bit, but not too much. And then I want to make it like really use it, how to install it, how to load, and that kind of stuff. So you will see it's more not practical because I won't ask you to do it, but you could. You could take the slide, just cut and paste, or listen and do it again. You will be able to do it, and we will see how we can build finally this RESTful API with the MRS, and even we can and use an SDK. So what is it? We talked and Miguel talked about it. So it is built on the concept of Oracle REST Data Services, or RDS for the Oracle database guy. And we have three different options to use it. The first one, as Miguel also said, is with the middleware using MySQL Router, or in MySQL HeatWave. So when you deploy a MySQL instance in OCI, you can say, oh, I want the REST service. And you will be able to use it for creating the application the same way. It's just installing the component and stuff that you don't need to do because you have it there. And or finally using it inside the server. So this is what Miguel explained, and this is what we're going to do here now. So the last part. But when we will be in creating your application phase, it's exactly the same for the tree. But I will spend time here at the start to see how it use. So this I can bypass because it has been already explained, and I think Vittorio did also. And it has also this nice SDK API that we will play with it. So you will see something very cool. I don't know if you have tried. So who has tried MRS? Any of the options? Nobody? Ah, you? Good. I'm surprised. I'm joking. So you will see it's a very nice and intuitive way to create maps in. And Simon is gone, but how to also say, oh, who one can see and stuff like that. Yeah, you can also, so you create everything with clicks, but if you want, you will have also the SQL of creating that if you want to deploy on multiple server or anything. So we started publishing it in 9.4.0 as a lab, MRS 14, when it has the HTTP port, better error log, race condition fix, build plenty of stuff, and then we did it 9.5.0. So with this time support of database architecture, then new system variable, new status variable, and some improvement. And finally, the one we released very recently, so the 27th, it's based on 9.6, and it has the integration with the keyring. So how we're going to use, so we will use this lab because I want to show you how to use the component and not the router, right? Or not the one in OCI. So to do that, I will use Docker. I'm not a big Docker fan, but I think it was so easy to show to people. So you just download the MySQL Community 9.6.0 Labs MRS Docker, and you load it, and you can see it's there. You have it, right? Then when you have it, this is this new server keyring that has been added in 9.6. And of course, what I did, because I was, as you have seen, I did it for 9.4, then 9.5, then I said, okay, let's do the same with 9.6, and it failed. It failed, why? Because it needed the keyring stuff, which I never used for previously for my other demo using the component, so it fails. So if you don't do this step with the next, so the 9.6 labs, it will fail. You really need to have it.
It
So
fails with a decent error message.
What?
It fails with a nice error
Yeah,
message.
it fails with an error message, but it fails. So
It tells you what you're missing.
my idea is to
That's
show
important
how
to
not
say
to
that.
fail, right? and who reads error message?
Okay, that's a different discussion.
Most of the time when I have people telling me, oh, I have an issue, oh, what's the issue? It's, yeah, I don't remember, he says something about message or error. Okay, it helps. So here, so you need to create a MySQL.mi file where you just put the component, the keyring component that you're going to load. So we will use manifest to do that. So we will create also a component keyring file CNF where we put this path where the keyring will be. So I use the file to put my secret, right? And I need to create a directory. Ooh, bad! Yes, it is. We released that on, so I did that Wednesday night, Thursday morning I was here. I tried, of course, with 7.0.0 and it failed because Docker gave me, it creates just a backup of the keyring with a stupid UID that I know where it comes from, and then it failed. So I have to do this to make it work. So I need to think, to check what it is. But so this is why it's bad, but it's like that right now. Anyway, you are using Docker. So then you need to launch the Docker container like this, and this is what I need to add, right? All the point for the MySQL my file, the component keyring file configuration, and where is the keyring where it will be stored. So when I do that, then my machine, my container will be started. So if we check, we can see MRS is there, it's running for 2 minutes, and the size it used. So far, so good. Now we will connect, so I connect directly on using Docker here to create a user that I will use to do everything. So I will create my user FOSDEM with the password, and I give all the privilege with grant option, so I will be able to connect from my shell to my Docker server. So who already used MySQL Shell on Visual Studio Code? Well, only a few of them. You should try it. It's fun and it has plenty of new features. It's good that you are not using it, too much, because you will see that my slides are not updated with the exactly last release, because what the migration assistant, you won't see it in the line of it, but it's just the one before here. So what we do, we take a new connection and we connect to using FOSDEM, and we will store the password and we do OK. So we are in, we have MySQL there, we can connect to it, and this is what we have. So we are connected, it's easy to understand. So now, if you want to prefer to use the shell from command line, you can also use MySQL Shell to connect to the container, and this is what you will have, right? Before going, so now the server is running. Before, let's say, starting loading the component and everything, what we're going to do, we're going to use some data, because it doesn't make any sense without data. So I will use the Sakila database that everybody knows, and I will load it and unzip it, and I can, so I download, unzip it, and you can already load it from disk if you want, and you have all the SQL, you run it, and so the schema are created. Then I will load the data, and you can see when it's done, I have all my Sakila schema here with all the tables, and if we check, we have records in it. So now we will be able to use this information, this relational data, inside the MRS to do JSON and call the REST API. So now we need to prepare the server. So the first thing to do is now that we have created everything, it's to load the component. One thing I recommend, because even if it's every 30 seconds, but then you change this 30 seconds or?
Yes.
Because then it was like, metadata down there, metadata.
There was too much
it was,
bullshit.
yeah, it was really annoying me. So instead of being annoyed, the thing I would how you say, recommend to do is first create the metadata. Before you load the component, you can create the metadata, and then it will work. To create the metadata, you cannot do with the old MySQL client. You need to use MySQL Shell. And to be honest, you can create it like this in MySQL Shell command line, but with the VS Code, it's even better. So with the VS Code, when you see this, it means right-click. So you right-click, configure instance for MySQL REST Service support, and that's it. So you do that, and it will create all the metadata for you, even if the component is not yet loaded, right? And the thing that it doesn't do with Shell, when you create the metadata, is that with Shell you will have to create the REST user and all that. And here it does it automatically for you. It asks you at least if you want to do it, and you say, okay, I want to create an authentication user that will use the REST API. So I will call it FOSDEM REST user, and I put a password. Okay. Then I say, okay. He said, oh, the service has been configured successfully. And if I check here, I will see it. REST authentication here with the method. Then the MRS is my service. And you see the user that we have created. And the MRS service is here. So here is the authentication. So you may have a lot of users. These users are using the MRS internal authentication method, but you could also use, if you want, MySQL users, but then you need to create MySQL users. It's possible too, but I prefer to not use the MySQL user here. So, because we didn't want to use the router, we also need to load the component, and now it's time to load the component. So what we do, we just do install component, file, component, MySQL REST service. And it works. Do you see something strange here? I know it's late, I know it's last day, and maybe it's, but I heard earlier when one of the last questions to Miguel, so this is why I'm asking it. No?
No, keyring.
Where is the keyring component? In fact, when we use a manifest, we don't see it, but it's there. So it's not the only component. We have the keyring component, it's loaded, but we don't see it. But it's needed, it's really required. But yeah, if you try to install the component MySQL REST Service without having the keyring component, it will fail. This is the nice message.
No, the nice is in the bottom.
This one.
Come on. You will include a link
I
to
know.
the docs.
So this is the error message in the error. But as a user, I will see this one first, right? So this is the message you have. So now that everything is loaded, it will create an account to use the component and the REST service. And it is MySQL _MRS_1. And this is, you can see the role it has. And this is when we load the component, it's by default it's loaded there. And this is the password of this user that is saved using in the keyring. So this is to show you what's inside the keyring. Because this stuff, with the version 9.4 or version of 9.5, you don't have it, it's just 9.6. So now we can, everything is ready for us to create our first endpoint. And let's say, okay, we want to expose the actor table from the Sakila database, but without authentication. Just let's start easy. We don't do any authentication, but we want to create this endpoint. So we need to create a REST service for it. So in MySQL REST Service, we will right-click, then add REST Service. And he said, okay, what's the service path you want? I want slash FOSDEM, then I give a name if I want. Who should authenticate? The people that are using the MRS authentication, and also the people that are using MySQL. If you want, you can choose both. And then you say, okay, and don't forget to publish. If you don't publish, you won't see it. And when it's done, you say, oh, the MRS service has been created. You see here, it's there, it's been published, so it's live, it's green. And so that easy. And all I show you now works with the router or on HeatWave in OCI is exactly the same. After that, I say, oh, I want to expose the actor table, so I right-click on the actor, and I say, okay, add this object to the REST service. And the first thing is say, oh, you want to add actor, but you don't have access to Sakila, right? So should we have also access to Sakila? And you say, yes, please add it for me, and it does it. And then it gives you, okay, FOSDEM, Sakila to get the schema, then the object is actor. I say, oh, I don't want to have authentication. And it's here that you can select what you want to do. So, and which records you want to give in this REST JSON object. And also, what are the permissions? By default, it's just read, and you say, oh, I want to insert, update, or delete. And in my case, I just want to expose it, so I don't do anything else. You can check the SQL preview. So you could do that and provide all the SQL statement to create the surveys, to create everything for you. When it's okay, it says it's the actor that's been updated, and you have it there, here. You can see the Sakila now it's under the service and actor. And you see it's just white here, nothing. It's because it doesn't require authentication. And then you just can connect from your browser or using curl and see what it is, and you will have the actors. So everything in the database, we will see in that table, we will see it here, plus the ETAC that we discussed yesterday when we were talking about JSON. We have access here. So we can also do queries if you want, so by primary key. So I say, oh, I want the actor with the primary key 44, and you will give me, okay, the actor with ID 44 is Stallone Nick, right? So far easy. And you can also filter out and say, oh, I want that all the actor with the first name being Nick, and I just want that this is a GQ after. I put all the JSON, and from the JSON I will just extract the actor, the first name and the last name. But we see that we got all the nicks. And if we check in the database, in the table by itself, we can see that there are only 3 nicks. Right? So we think that's cool and easy.
Yeah. Is there any way on the browser to just say, yeah, give me the actor table, but just the names of the actors? Like a filtering?
No.
Yeah, you can just specify which columns you want.
Yeah, you can specify the columns you want, but then that you can have, but then you get a JSON all the time, right? Here it's just because here it depends on your browser and what. Sometimes you don't see it like nicely displayed, but this is what you get, right? So now let's go further in this, right? And see how we can. Yeah, I wanted to say all this SQL. So when you have it, you can say, oh, I want to dump everything I've created. So let's say you deploy with the shell in your development machine, and then say, no, we need to deploy all that in production, for example. You will have all the SQL or all the information to create all this for you. So you can dump that. Now let's use again the same stuff, but with the SDK. First, you can edit. So when you have a table and an actor, you can say, oh, I want to edit this object, And this time you need to authenticate, and I will allow people to insert and update data in my JSON. And when I do OK and it updates it, you can see here we have the orange to say, oh, now it requires authentication. So this is all to dump to this. You can say, oh, I want to dump this object to this or whatever. And what we're going to do now is to dump the SDK. So to use with our programming language we have access. And it won't give you this. This you need to type it by yourself. By default, you will have the old router URL and port, but you need to, here because we are using the component, we connect directly to the server, so you need to type the URL of the REST service we created. And then you can choose the API you want. I am very bad in TypeScript and stuff, so I use Python. And let's go, you say OK. And it asks you where you want to download to save the file. You give a path, and it saves it for you. So it creates this FOSDEM MRS SDK, so small. And if we check what we have in it, so we have the FOSDEM PI and the MRS class, MRS config, JSON files, everything is here. And you can do that from the shell, also using MRS dump SDK if you want, in the command line. No need to go on the GUI. It depends what you want to do. So now I will create our own program, right? And I will call it FOSDEM. You will see I'm very good in writing such code. This is my application. So we connect with the user we created, the password, which application we want to, authentication we use. So it's MRS, it's not MySQL. And we connect, we find, and we take the 10 first records, and we're going to print them, right? So we run it, and this is what we have. So we use the SDK, we just say, oh, let's use it, loop on the actor service I want, and you have it here. So, like I said, we can also update. So this time, we say, oh, I want to find an actor where the ID is 4, and this time I will print it, but I will change the first name to Andra. Then I will update, and that's it. So we run it, and it says, oh, it's Jennifer Davis, because we print it first. The second time, we're going to run the first script we created first, and we can see that number 4 is not Jennifer Davis, but no, it's Andra, because we did the update. So easy to do this. So usually when I show that to developers that doesn't know anything about database, they love it. It's much easier than all SQL stuff they do. So the SDK, it's all documented here, and it's, I don't know how many times do I have, because you didn't show me anything. I don't blame you.
Thank you. 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can also, we use a table, a normal table, but we can also, for example, say, oh, I want to use a view. So you can give access to a view. Here are the views that are available in the secular database by default. So you pick one and say, oh, please add the view to the object, and you can have access to a view. So not only table, but also view. Something very important, if you want to use this view in your Python program, it's that every time you create new service or you update your service in the MRS service, you need to export the SDK, because the SDK has changed. The first time I did, I said, wow, I create the view and nothing really works with the SDK. And if I don't export it, of course, it's not there. So you can use the view, and now you have access to the data from the view, right?
Is it possible to add all tables and objects from one schema when you create the rest of it? Or do you have to do right-click on
You want to say I want to all the tables?
like star dot star?
I don't think you can. You cannot allow all of them at the same time, because you need to create the maps. Then you want to map everything all the time. Then it will be easier to create a bash script or something like that will do it for you.
So
But
if you do a database change and new tables, you need to actively add it
Yeah.
to them. Yeah.
Is it possible to monkey patch that to actually changes in the runtime?
could you say again? I didn't get.
Is it possible to monkey patch this thing and change any object in the runtime in the SDK?
So you mean modifying the data itself, or modifying the view you want?
The view I want.
Yeah. No, you need to update the SDK.
Oh.
So yeah, here, for example, I showed you table, I showed you views, but function is the same. So let's take a look what function we have in the Sakila database. Oh, there is inventory in stock, for example. And as you can also click there. Oh, look, there is add object REST service. Let's try it. So you do it, and you say, oh, this object, I want to have access to it. And of course, there is only one ID to see if it has. Once again, don't forget to export. Then we can see all the time all the service we have, all the endpoint we have in the service. And you say, oh, I say, oh, movie ID 1. And you say, oh, it's in stock, movie ID 6. Oh, it's not in stock. So you can call functions, you can call views, you can do wherever you want. Same in the, so this is the SDK that what we have just seen. So this is how we call it. You see, just my service, Sakila, inventory in stock, all the parameter, and that's it. So very, very easy to use. So now, yeah, was just for fun. I was updating stuff. This was a challenge for people that wants to try, but I will not show you the answer right now. So share your love to MySQL, and I am open to the questions.